Mead has an interesting theory called the stages of self. And Mead was one of those sociologists around the early 1900s. And really what he said was that the self is defined by three distinct stages: the preparatory stage, the play stage, and the game stage. And these are chronological stages. In other words, you would go through the preparatory stage first, then the play stage, then the game stage. So for Mead, the preparatory stage occurs in childhood, and it's a period in time where you imitate the people around you, especially other family members with whom you have a lot of contact. And so small children, for example, if they see their dad working on the car, they may pick up the hammer and bang it on a piece of wood. Or if they see mom in the kitchen prepping for dinner, then they may also want to have their little bowl and their mixer. This is also a period of time where children start to understand through the use of symbols. Now remember that language is a symbol. It's a symbol of our thoughts. So in this stage, children will begin by looking at picture books and they'll start to understand symbols. So the preparatory stage would be in early childhood. The second stage for Mead is the play stage. This is the stage where children start to develop skills in communicating through those symbols, and this is where role-taking actually starts to occur. Role-taking is that process of assuming somebody else's identity, if you will, and then responding from the imagined viewpoint. This is where you'll see children doing role-playing games, where you have children playing cops and robbers, or the good guys and the bad guys, or they'll play hospital with doctors and nurses. So in this stage, you could almost think of the child as being an actor. They've taken on a role, they've taken on the identity of that role, and then they're going to mimic that back through the socialization process. This is a very important aspect of socialization as far as Mead is concerned, because through this process, for example, children gradually learn how to best navigate the social environment in which they live and interact every day. So in other words, if you have a little boy and a little girl in a family and they're imitating mommy and daddy, and mommy comes home from work and she's not in a good mood, and the little girl sees this and she's able to imitate it, it helps her and it helps her brother to understand that they may need to give mommy a little bit of space so she can get in a better mood, and so then later on in the evening the family can enjoy themselves. So the third part of the process for Mead is the game stage. The game stage is about 9-10 years old maybe, and here's where children are able to start considering several actual tasks and relationships simultaneously. They start to understand that they are a player in the bigger picture. And appropriately named the game stage, we can think about this in terms of sports. If you are, for example, one team member, a football player, a basketball player, a soccer player, a hockey player, you have a role to play within the team in order to ensure the team's success. And so for this stage, Mead asserts that children start to understand that the universe does not revolve around them and that they are part of the bigger picture. And he talks about this in terms of the generalized other. The generalized other is the recognition of that child that there are other important, valuable people and roles in the world. And so the child is able at this stage of the game to understand, accept, and embrace that. So while this was an important theory of Mead, he was probably best known for his theory of the self. And what he says here is really just essentially that the self begins in a privileged place in the world. The self takes a very centralized position in a person's world, and you can think about this in terms of children. Very, very young children think that they are the universe. Everything is about them. Everything is about their experiences. Young children think that the world revolves around them, and it's very difficult for them to understand and consider other people's perspectives. Nonetheless, however, according to Mead, and it makes a lot of sense that as people mature, the self changes, and we begin to develop the ability to have greater concern for other people. And so some of these people we will call significant others. The significant others are the ones who play very important roles in helping us to develop our self-identity.